Given the way things have played out a little bit, do you have any regrets that you didn't carry the extra reliever for this round?
No, not really, because when you look at the way we use our position player group, pretty much use all of them. So not really, because I don't feel like we went to a game feeling short of pitching as far as like the length go and things like that. So no.
Next question, with Tim.
With Manaea having hit a wall at the end of his last outing, how do you weigh that going into tomorrow when I think you'll also need some length from him?
Yeah, look, he'll be ready to go. Everybody around this time of the year feels like he hit a wall. You know, it's not only Sean, but pretty much all of those guys that are competing on the field. So we'll watch him closely, and we'll be ready to adjust if we need to. But pretty comfortable giving him the ball tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
And was today a mandatory workout?
Yes.
Why mandatory when I believe the last couple have been optional?
Well, I don't know if it's mandatory or, it's just everybody wanted to be here today. So I never call it mandatory. It's more like it's optional. BP's always been optional the whole year, and you see day game, pretty much the whole team is taking BP. I just felt like the guys felt like they needed to show up today, and plus there's a lot of guys in the training room, so.
Next question. Abby?
What did you see from Francisco Alvarez last night in terms of his at-bats? I know he's been working on not letting his hips spin out. Was it a mechanical change, or did he just get some good pitches?
No, I think, one, he was on time. He got pitches early in the count that he was able to put the barrel on the ball. I think using the whole field. When you see him drive the ball the right field going with the pitch, that's a good sign. I think he's just shorter to the ball. He's on time. When he's on time, a lot of things will happen. Good things will happen, and we saw that yesterday. So calm, on time, short to the ball, using the whole field, that's a good combination.
How much do you see his confidence after a game like that? His confidence grow?
Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty confident player. Even when it's hard for him, that's the one thing he's going to show up with the same attitude. There's a lot of energy. And his ability to lead a pitching staff is off the chart for a guy of that age, So whether he's 0-4 or 1-for-25 or he's 4-for-4, like you know what you're getting out of him, and that's what makes him such a great player and such a great human being.
Okay, we're going to go to Mark on the left.
Carlos, you know who's going to be your DH tomorrow?
What's that again?
You know who's going to be your DH tomorrow?
Yeah, Jesse Winker's going to be the DH, as far as I know.
Sorry, Winker?
Yes.
Okay.
As of right now.
And I guess it's kind of riding his top bat over JD's body of work. Is that?
What was that again?
I guess you're trying to ride his top bat over JD's kind of body of work. Is that?
Well, I mean, we don't know who we're facing. We know it's a bullpen game, so we still got to wait and see what we got here. But there's a good chance he'd be in the lineup. On DH or outfield, we'll see how some of the guys are feeling too. So.
We go back to Mike in the middle.
What did you think of McNeil's at-bats yesterday, and would you consider keeping him in there at second base?
I thought the at-bats were really good, especially for a guy that haven't played in a long time, especially the situational hitting. He got running at third base twice, I think it was, and he got the job done, with the sac flies. So even though we're facing a pretty good pitching staff, I thought the at-bats were good, on time. Again, this is a guy that bat-to-ball skills are off the chart. And, he's definitely in the conversation for the lineup tomorrow. Again, we got to wait and see what we're facing.
Next question, Dave, behind.
Just back to Winker for a second. What is it about Winker, you think, Carlos, that he's always kind of in the middle of it? I mean, he's an aggressive player, he's aggressive on the base pass. Other teams seem to hate him when he's out there. I mean, is it just he's just kind of a gamer type of player? I mean, how do you put your finger on it? It just seems to be a spark when you have him in the lineup.
Yeah, he's an intense guy. He's gonna show emotions, and I don't see he's disrespecting the other team because he's usually towards our team. But I could see a guy that, from the other dugout, he's probably not gonna like as much. But he's a great guy, great human being. He cares. He's a competitor, and he's gonna give you good at bats. So. Yeah, intense guy that wants to win.
Okay, we're going to go to Bob in the middle, straight back.
Hey, Carlos, this year we're seeing more innings out of the bullpen than the rotation during the postseason. This would be the third time the Dodgers have used a bullpen game. Did you ever see it reverting back to where the starters are more emphasized in the postseason, or is this the way it was going to be?
Yeah, I think every year is different, and team build, their teams, accordingly, whether it's with starters, whether it's bullpen. Yeah, but I think the one thing we've seen this year that guys will get tired, So the importance of starting pitching is there. You need guys that give you length, that give you. It's hard to ask guys every day for 15, 16 outs. That's hard. And that's why the importance of starting pitching. Again, a lot of different teams are built a lot of different ways. We got some starters, but then there's teams there that they got some elite bullpen arms. So, yeah.
Tim?
Given Freddie Freeman's limited mobility, would you guys consider
Who's this?
Freddie Freeman's limited mobility? Would you consider bunting toward him and making him work defensively?
There's always not only whether he's dealing with something or not. That's the game will tell you. The personnel, like if you got guys that's part of their game and the situation calls for it, but not necessarily because whether he's moving well or not. I think it's just where you are in the game and the situation, and if we have to do it and we need to go that way, But yeah, it's not that we got to do this because he's not moving well. No, I think the game will tell us.
And then, given the way you had to manage yesterday with Stanek and Diaz in particular, what is the challenge then of doing that again tomorrow and then maybe again the next day when there's no room for error, only a handful of bullpen arms available really, and you have to win?
Guys will step up. We've done it the whole year. There's going to be guys that are going to be in the game, and we're going to ask them to get 3 outs, in high leverage situation, and high leverage in the playoff, especially when you're facing an elimination game, could be in the third inning, So you're not going to be able to rely just on 2 guys. We ask a lot of them. We saw it with Stanek yesterday. We saw it with Diaz. We'll see how the game unfolds tomorrow, but I think, like I said, a lot of different people are going to get the opportunity to come big for us, and they will.
Okay, we got one on the right and back.
Do you plan to use Kodai Senga from the bullpen tomorrow?
He will be available out of the bullpen, just like he was yesterday. So, again, we'll see how the game unfolds, but he is available. So.
Okay, anything else for Carlos? Tim?
Under what circumstances would you be comfortable using Senga?
Any circumstances. He's a good pitcher, and like I said, guys will step up, and I wouldn't hesitate giving him the ball in the third, in the fourth, in the sixth, in the seventh. It depends how he might be getting the last 3 outs of the game. So he's on the active roster. There's a reason why, and he's a good pitcher. And like I said, people will step up, and Senga's one of them.
So like yesterday, for example, I think you guys were up by 8 when Stanek was warming up in the 5th. Was there a lane and up comfortably the rest of the way? Mostly comfortably. Was there an opening there for Senga, do you think, or?
I don't think yesterday was. Every game is different depending on what you got. So you throw Senga there in the middle of the innings, and for some reason he doesn't have it, and you don't have much protection behind him. So I don't think yesterday was the case. So yeah, every game is different, and it's going to depend who's available. So.
And my last question was. I was just curious what you thought of some of the chippiness yesterday. Peterson, Muncy at first base, Pajes, Alvarez. Not unusual for this time of year, of course, but what did you think of that flavor?
Yeah, I think it's just happening in the heat of the moment. The last thing you want is trying to create something unnecessary on the field. They're competing. We know what everything's it's do or die type deal, and they're competitors, man, and things. Sometimes players will show their emotions, but the last thing you want is to wake up a team, and that's not who we are. So we're going to continue to play our game, and we're not here to try to create anything.